This meeting to order. You guys become accustomed to that sound. Vice Mayor, members of the council, staff, members of the public that are here, always a pleasure. And with that, we'll get this meeting started. Would you call the roll, please, Erica?
Councilmember Jablonski.
Here.
Councilmember Fisickelli.
Here.
Councilmember McKay.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bright Cruz.
Here.
Mayor Nelson.
Here, can we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item number 3, public comment. Erica?
So you're going to go. Rules for public comment are published on the agenda, so I'll just read who will be speaking. Mike Hanley is the only speaker that I have. Okay, is the first speaker that I have. Yes.
Run. Keep running back there to get her.
I think you know what this is going to be about. My name's Mike Hanley. I live out in 205 in Southwest Ranches. Went to a property owners meeting, or homeowners association meeting the other night. Mr. Bright Cruz was there as well as a couple other council members. And the subject came up about roads being closed, roads being open, roads being negotiated, and the proverbial complaint of too much through traffic, too much congestion, too much this, and asking for solutions. I don't purport to have the answer to everybody's solutions, but I like the analogy the gentleman made the other day about his heart problem. He said, if I have a heart problem, I don't continue to block the arteries feeding the heart. I put in a bigger artery to make sure it gets sufficient flow. I think one of the solutions that Freddie mentioned and Bright Cruz mentioned is 184. It was planned a long time ago to go through. John Eastman said that would ease at least 80% of the problem traffic in his community. And I was advised that you don't want 4 lanes. The county does want 4 lanes. Pembroke Pines and Weston need to be in bed with us on this issue, according to Freddie, because he says he doesn't have sufficient votes by in and of and by himself and or money for Southwest Ranches to do it. So why don't we negotiate a peace treaty with our neighbors instead of causing problems with them, i.e. 205, 202, 199. I would love to have those roads open. And the more freedom we have to go north and south, probably the less problems we'll have. I can't offer a solution for congestion or commercial. That's your guys' job to figure out how to alleviate that problem, and whether you're going to speed bump them, use the enforcement codes, etc. Vince has been an advocate of 184 for a long time, and he asked me to crusade for something instead of against something, i.e. against blocking gates, and put a through street in. We need it. This community is getting bigger and bigger, as are all the communities in Southwest Ranches and out in the western side of town. There's going to be more and more traffic. I personally really don't want to go down north in order to go south, to go out the Death's Highway on US 27. It's a proven fact that that is not the place you want to take your car. You guys on the council don't have to go out to 27 to get south. That's the only choice I have. I would much rather go down and try and get from Griffin Road to Pembroke Pines through 184 than going through the other neighborhoods on 185, 188, and soon to be open 190, I guess, if 345 gets their way. But we got to do something. You can't just keep sitting on this problem and ignoring it. It's getting bigger, it's getting worse, and you guys have to do something about it. Please, act.
Thanks, Mike.
Next speaker is Joanne Hollingsworth, followed by Mary Gay Chapels.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Town Administrator. My name is Joanne Hollingsworth, and I live on 199th Avenue in the town of Southwest Ranches, and I'm going to tell you no. No clickers, no opening gates, no return to chaos. Yes to the children playing in the streets, basketball, biking, etc. Yes to safely walking our pets. Yes to safely getting our own mail without getting hit by a car. Yes to our peace and quiet. Will the gates shut permanently? Period. Enough. Final end to the story. Thank you.
Gay Chapels. I've been told before, in fact, several times, that I shouldn't voice an opinion about anything out west. And even though that may be true, I'm going to anyway. I find it rather interesting that everybody has a traffic problem. 188th has it with 190th. They want 190th to open up, and that way they can close all the through streets into 188th so that they lighten their load. And I agree with it. I also look at the fact that Pembroke Pines, which really truly has nothing to do with us, they've resolved their problem. They're putting in a road. In fact, I was to a neighbor who it butts up to and looked at it. He said he tried to talk him into putting a road, kind of a cutoff road, to his property. They told him no. Anyway, they're going to get their road through probably by December or the 1st of January. So they'll be able to go north or south with no trouble at all. Now, there are a few little glitches. One of the glitches is going to be the school, 2,500 kids, no bus service, car service, first grade to 12th. I feel that it is the duty of this town to protect the residents of our town from the traffic impact that's going to occur out there. The more roads there are, access, the more they're going to be using it as a cut-through to get there or come back and forth to avoid the traffic patterns. I don't know what they're going to do. That's their problem. If that traffic is going to go through the trail and then Durango to get to Sterling, that's their problem. They created it. It's their problem. Our problem is the impact of traffic that's going to be on Griffin Road, which is 2 lanes. And I think that it's your duty as council members to go before the school board every time this comes up, or the county, and protest it. Because they're going to put another school out there, again, very close to 27, and they're going to draw kids from where? I don't think that Weston kids are going to be going there. I think the majority of the kids are going to come from Pembroke Pines. So it's going to be predominantly Pines traffic going in and out of there, because Cypress Bay serves Weston exclusively. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to have a Weston address to go there. If you're going there without a Weston address, you kind of play games. So I'm just saying that we need to look at the whole picture. 4 lanes we don't need out there as a free, I mean, that thing would be a drag strip. 2 lanes is okay.
T. Schroeder, followed by Sarah Hanley, who's the last speaker.
D. Schroeder, 5501 Thoroughbred Lane. I didn't get that involved with the road closure out there, but you all talked to the people that lived out there, and they're quite happy with the way it was. Maybe I get an extra minute, just because people can't sit there and be quiet because it's their opinion. What happened to our town a few weeks ago was a very sad thing. And again, it wasn't our fault. We didn't do this. Sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. It truly was an accident. And you know something? You pay your tax dollars, each and every one of yous, for people to protect and serve. And they failed to protect her. She was the stop. It should have been at the end of Chrome Avenue that there was 2 cop cars pointed in one direction. Get out of your car, move off to the side, and wait for the barreling ass to come. He had no place to go except right there, off to the side, and he was going to get hurt. Not that poor woman. As far as opening our roads, I want to tell you something. I've taken a slap in the face from Pembroke Pines long enough. And as far as Weston, I came before all of you when I ran for Broward County School Board fighting for our kids. Let's go all the way back to the days of Johnny Dollar. That road was put in there on Weston so that we could have access to our schools that we pay taxes for, and we're denied. You know what? We've got some pretty choice words, and any one of those mayors from those towns, if they want to talk to me, I'll be more than happy to give them my choice words of what I think. I think we ought to block Bonaventure off. In fact, I think we ought to be a one-way in town and a one-way out. That's what I believe, with all of my heart. Save your kids, save your animals, save our roads. I'm tired of paying for all of their stuff. Thank you.
Sarah Hanley, last speaker.
Your Honorable Mayor and council people. As you know, I don't ever come to these meetings very much, so I don't know all the history, I know that, but I have been doing my research. I wasn't going to say anything tonight. I've been listening, and this is pertaining to the roads, of course. I have sympathy for everyone that has an issue. I don't have an issue, except that I live there, and I am compassionate with my neighbors. I'm listening to them. I understand the mothers who drive their children in both directions, which I understand is a school board problem, which can be addressed with your help if you just give us a little guidance. And I also feel that when the gates were installed, that perhaps, just perhaps, due consideration was not given to both sides of the fence because there was a lot of turmoil at that time regarding other issues. I am not sure because I was not here, but I'm just saying this from my heart. Griffin Road and 27 is a death trap as we know it. If we have to go to the state or the county for a different way to, I get extra minutes, for maybe reconfiguring to make a change so that it's safer for the general public, especially the people that live there, then that's what we need to do, and we need to be guided in that direction. I am looking for a solution to help our citizens that live on both sides of the fence, especially Southwest Ranches. My girlfriends have children that were even in the bus wreck last week. I don't know if everyone's read about that in the Sun Sentinel, but there was a bus that was hit, children on the bus at Griffin and 205. These things are in the paper. Everybody knows about it. They're on Sun Sentinel. They're in the news. There's a problem. And people should not, neighbors and citizens and taxpayers and homeowners should not dictate to their neighbor who can pass and who cannot. It's our constitutional right to be able to have free passage of these roads, whether it's in your bike, on foot, or whatever. But we should try to utilize what's there. 210 is there, and Bonaventure Road is there. As Freddie explained, we need guidance, and we need to be told how to get about solving that problem. And hopefully 184, 5, 6, whatever, is going to be helped. So everyone should be calm and try to solve problems instead of making them. That's all I have to say. And we would need your guidance, council, and your recommendations. Thank you.
Okay. That concludes public comment. There aren't any more speakers. Item number 4, board reports. Any members of any board like to come up? And of course you do, Gay. I wouldn't let you not.
We had a meeting. They're going to now First of all, I have to say that it's not going to come back to any of the boards. What it'll do is come to you all, and from there, hopefully we will start, if the bids are right, the barn underway for a meeting facility. There was a lot of input, a lot of questions, and the bottom line is we sent them away with what we felt was what would be nice to have if it were totally finished, turnkey, but if it's not, do the best you can, and then we'll finish it up with possibly outside vendors or volunteers. So hopefully, we're going to have that facility maybe by next spring, maybe. And it'll be great. Everybody's looking forward to it. They asked for plenty of plugs because I guess already they're talking about having computer classes and stuff like that. So it's not just going to be for parties. It's going to be everything we can think of and then some. So I'm looking really forward to it. It's going to give us a chance to offer the residents in this town a lot of different opportunities that they're not afforded now. We have very talented people. We have artists in this town. Most of them are going to volunteer their time. So keep your fingers crossed.
Thank you, Gay. Any other members of any board like to come up and give us any updates? Seeing no more, that concludes board member comments. Item number 5, council member comments. Gary.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll go first. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. A few things to go over, if I may. First off, I'd just give some public service announcements just to reiterate. We got a busy month coming up, busy season. October 19th, we have the Country Roads Art and Craft Fair at the Equestrian Park. That's usually a lot of fun in December. Really does a great job with that. So make sure everybody goes to that if you have the time. It's Saturday morning. October 26th is the hazardous waste drop-off at Rolling Oaks Park. That'll be our first one, and I'm sure it's going to be successful. I've been saving up a lot of motor oil for it. October 31st is Halloween. We have the Haunted Hayride at Rolling Oaks. It's put on by the Rolling Oaks Civic Association, and the entire town is welcome. We have a lot of fun with that. Last year, I believe there was like 200 or 300 kids there, a couple of big ones too in costume. And we had a lot of fun. We had costume contests, a haunted hayride, and there was a tremendous volume of candy, and I'm sure all the orthodontists and dentists were really happy to see that. November 2nd, we have the Education Advisory Scholarship food truck event at the Equestrian Park. I believe that's going to be from about 4 to 8, I think, is the time for that. And November 16th is the Astronautes Parks Foundation fundraiser and party. I think of it more as a party than a fundraiser, but it's the primary fundraising event of the year. And I know we had a lot of fun with the chili cook-off recently, and I know this one's going to be a lot of fun. It's at the Old Navy Museum. I don't have the specific time on it, but it's a nighttime event. So I just wanted to mention that. Also, too, we had a great meeting on the barn renovations, and it's going out to the marketplace for prices. And hopefully we'll come in at budget. We have a really good feeling about it, and Andy is shepherding that through and watching it very closely. We had a really good meeting last week on the traffic. I know Steve's going to comment on that, so I'm not going to get into that. And Andy, a couple things for you to, if you could address in your comments. One is there's a lot of recycling carts being distributed right now all over the place, big blue carts. They're finally here. They're in place. They're being worked on. If you could go over what if you ordered the larger or the smaller or extra, or if you didn't receive any at all, how is there a database? Do we know, if you could kind of put that out to TV land? I was already asked that a couple of times, and I didn't really have a sufficient answer at the moment. And I understand Andy, or maybe Michelle may want to quote on this with the Attorney General's opinion that was recently released. It's now making the rounds. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Freddie.
Yeah, actually, I guess one of the hottest topics going on right now is 184th Avenue. It just so happens, I go to MPO once a month, and today was my day. Actually, it didn't come up today, other than what happens, the long transportation plan comes up like it did today, and all it was there today for was to move an object up that was not supposed to be completed till something like 15 years from now, and they moved it up. Actually, what it's doing is widen State Road 7. But during that time, they gave us kind of a schedule on the land transportation plan. I took the advantage, and I did it for the council people, and I probably got a couple extra ones here if you want to look at them. But 184th Avenue, by the way, I look back in some of my records, and believe it or not, back in 2003 or something like that, I didn't bring it with me, we passed a resolution for me to do that, to go before the board and find out what it would take to get 184th put through, which I'm still doing. But today, on the long-range transportation plan, 184th is on there twice. The first one is to replace it, is to turn it from a to a 4-lane road from Sheridan Street to Miramar Parkway, which would make it a 4-lane road all the way from that way, all the way up to Sheridan Street. And then the next item, which I gave all the council people a copy of this, it was 184th Avenue. This is item 43. It's the second from the last on the program. It's to put in a 4-lane road from Sheridan Street to Griffin Road. Price $28 million. But then you have to look at this thing to really tell. But then it goes over to the very last column, and it tells you what year this will happen, and it's from year 2031 to 2035. That's when they anticipate we'd have the money to do it. But there's a couple copies if some of y'all want to look at them, to what's happening. I know it's a hot item, and so anytime something comes up, I'll try to keep you informed on it. I think I explained it a little bit last time. It really doesn't look too advantageous of trying to get it through. I talked to the people from DOT today, and he says it has a lot to determine whether it's a local road, what kind of road it is, and what kind of traffic and stuff like that. But as you can see, the long-range plans for that road is eventually to be 4-lane road from county line to almost county line, all the way up to, well, I don't think Bonaventure goes all the way to 84, but it kind of ventures in there. But that looks like the long-range plans. I'm not going to say too much more on 84. I think there's going to be a lot said in the future. But also today, another thing came up before the MPO, which is not really important to some of the people, but it seems that the Florida Department of Transportation has a lot to do with your urban renewal line. And they have come back to the MPO today. In fact, we packed a resolution to support their movement to move that line from the levee back to US 27. Right now, it goes all the way to US 27, but now they want to move it back. There's an area in there that they can't do anything about, and that's that trailer park that's on the west side of US 27. That has to stay there. But there supposedly would be no urban development past that point. The only thing I was concerned and brought about to the meeting today is what's going to happen to Holiday Park, because Broward County has taken over that now, and what's going to happen. And I talked a little bit, and Christie was there today. So all we did today was support the resolution that the FDOT brought to us, and their recommendation is to move that line. We will probably get a vote on it, and won't be too long. Then another thing came up at MPO, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Emily about it today, but I'll ask some of you people, the council people. Maybe, Emily, I meant to talk to you this earlier. You had talked to me about 3 or 4 weeks ago about things that were sent to you about One of them would widen Griffin Road, and the other was 184th. Did you get a questionnaire on that or something? Would you mind coming to the mic, because I want to speak on this a little bit?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, the MPO recently sent out a survey to all the cities to respond to areas of concern or areas surrounding or within their communities to see if the project is still needed. 184th was on there, Griffin Road widening was on there, and a whole bunch of sidewalks within the town were on there. And Andy and I worked together on this, and we said that the sidewalks were no longer needed because we had multi-purpose trails throughout the town, and our comp plan generally prohibits those sidewalks. We responded to the 184th that the council had adopted a resolution and several years ago requesting it to be 2 lanes, and we had also cited the comprehensive plan which says that it should be 2 lanes as well. And as far as widening Griffin Road, we said that we were unsure whether that project was still needed. It depended on a lot of factors, so that was one of the options that we could decide.
The reason I asked that question, I'm not trying to put you or Andy on the spot, but I asked the gentleman about it today because he was talking about how important the survey is to get out to everybody. And he said, well, you should have received one. I didn't receive one of my email that I know of. Did any of you other people receive them? He said they're supposed to be sending them out to all of us. But this is going to be an ongoing survey, and I got the information on here. Andy, I think that we need to talk to it because what they want from us, they're trying to get from the people what they want to happen in the future. You know, not just MPO, but the outside. And he wanted this survey to get out more, so I don't think they got it out the way they wanted to. And before I brought it up here, and I was going to try to talk to you before, and I apologize, we had some other things we talked about. But I think it's important that we get behind it, and if we can, get our people behind it and get some information to them. You know, like I think one of my surprise on the long-range plan, they're not showing widen US 27, Griffin Road. I looked at it today just to see where it was at, but I know you had asked me about it, and I don't see it on any of our long-range plans, so that's something I'll look into.
Right, they were asking whether it should be included in the 20-year plan or not.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thank you, Emma. But anyway, like I say, we go to these meetings, and believe it or not, I got to vote today. Actually, that's coming up too. They're going to try to change that to where they can increase the vote. But it just so happened there was 19 people there, and there's 19 votes. Actually, I'm for. If 3 other people are there, I'm a little bit further than they are up the line. So but there was 4 of us there today that normally don't have a vote. But it's very interesting to go and to listen, and it keeps us informed about what everything's going on. All right, my next object I want to talk about is the fishing hole park. Right now, what we're doing over there is they're doing what they call an as-built. And what they do before they start that project, and as far as we can find out, one wasn't done. They were supposed to do an as-built to show what elevations they're supposed to meet everywhere. And I guess you know we hired William and Bradley to make sure everything's being done right. And they're requesting it be done now to see what's there and everything, and that's what the holdup. Soon as that's finished, they're almost ready to put the grass down. But he won't do anything until he's sure that all the elevations are right and everything in there. But it's working. They were out there today doing a little preliminary work, but there's not really much going on until they get the as-built and we can find out where we're at, and then I think you'll see some grass.
Freddie, what's that cost going to be related to an as-built? Do we know?
That's not our cost. It costs the contractor. He's supposed to finance it. He's got to pay for it. Not costing us anything. But it's something that should have been done before, wasn't done, and he's doing it now, and Vernon's making sure it's going to be right before it's done. All right, I guess the last thing I'm going to do here tonight is, Steve, I'm talking before you, but Debbie Green had made a suggestion at the thing. Do you tend to do anything with it?
What do you mean doing?
When she made a motion that was passed
The country estates vote? I'm not planning on taking any action.
all right, then I will. I would like to make a motion that we bring back to the next meeting a motion to see if there's any improvements that we can do on 199th Avenue to help that condition. I'm not making a motion to change anything. I'm just making a motion that we talk about it.
Freddie, if you want to place it as an agenda item, by all means, contact Andy. We'll put it on
Well,
the
well,
agenda if you
I
want
mean,
to discuss it.
The reason I'm doing it this way, if I don't even have a second for it, there's no need bringing it back before the meeting. All I'm doing is make a motion that we bring it back to the next meeting as an agenda item, but I don't know how the rest of it
For what
will.
purpose?
Huh?
For what purpose?
Well, at that meeting, she lived on 199th, and she was very concerned, and she says there's quite a other people on that sign that are concerned, and she was curious if there's anything that could be done to help the situation. Pardon?
What situation? Yeah, it's not, I mean, this has been in bed for a long
I
time.
won't do it. I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm sorry. But that's all my motion is, that not to make, I mean, I'm not saying bringing it up tonight. I'm just saying, make a motion to see if we want to bring it as a motion next week.
I'm not in support of it.
Pardon?
I'm just stating I'm not in support of it.
Okay, that's all. That's the thing.
I don't know about everybody else, but
It can't go nowhere if I don't get y'all support, then it ain't going anywhere. That's all. That's the reason I didn't know whether Steve planned to do anything, but I listened to the lady, and I felt she had a concern, and I felt that there were some other people on the 199th that had a concern of not being able to go south and not some of those things. So figured that that's part of my job, to, if there's a possible solution to some of that, do we need to discuss it? And if the other four of y'all don't think so, then,
Freddie, they're going to have a road here pretty soon.
pardon?
They're going to have a road here pretty soon.
No,
I mean, that road, the property the Weekly sold to them,
Our town is not going to have anything to do with that road, Doug.
I understand that, but that's going to give the people in the other area, on the other side, access to Griffin Road. That's what it's going to do.
But it's not going to do Debbie Green and her neighbors a chance to do anything that they felt that they were deprived of.
That's old news. I mean, I don't tell you. I would tell you that it's...
I'm going to talk about it when I get.
Okay.
That's all I have, Jeff. Thank you very much.
We're just transitioning right into your comments, Steve. So with that, have at it.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, my comments are going to focus around traffic tonight. I did want
Fix
to,
that traffic light yet.
you know,
I couldn't
let's not go there. Let's not go there. I do want to make one other comment before I get there, just quickly. I spoke to Andy and Michelle. We need to get moving on with the Tisdor project. There's a whole series from a legal standpoint that we need to be working on, and we're making a lot of progress from a road paving and getting things lined up from that standpoint, but we have a lot of work from a legal standpoint. I don't think we've started on that yet, so I want to make sure we get working on that. Okay. With that being said, there have been a couple of events about traffic that have happened since we were last together. Let me talk about the second one first. At the Country Estates HOA meeting on Monday evening this week, there was Debbie Green brought forth the proposition that opening the gate should be revisited again, and either with clickers or some other way of doing that to allow a certain amount of traffic to go through. We have I appreciate the situation that she's in. I understand that she has a daughter that needs to get to a school that is in Pembroke Pines. And, you know, and I understand that there are a number of ways to get there. Some are more convenient than others, and it's a choice on which way to go. So, and I understand all that, and I'm not making any value judgments one way or the other on that. But with that being said, we have gone through this process. I personally have walked up and down those roads and talked to the neighbors on those roads myself. I didn't leave it to somebody else. I wanted to go out there and do it myself. So I heard firsthand what the neighbors and the residents that were on that road felt. Having concluded with that, I found that the majority of them, this is way back before the roads were closed, the majority of them were in favor of closing those roads. And so we as a council proceeded in that direction, and I'm proud of the fact that we proceeded on that direction, and I'm thankful for you all and your support in supporting the residents in this effort. I understand that it was not 100%. I understand that there were folks out there that were not in support of this, and that makes that a very difficult decision. I can tell you this, that having gone through that process, two things are very clear to me. Number one is that individuals that I spoke to when I walked up and down those roads, and I heard a number of folks that were not in favor of closing those roads. A number of those people have since come up to me and thanked me for closing those roads. They were not in favor of it, but they now appreciate the fact of what they know what their neighborhood used to be, they know what their neighborhood is today, and they thank me for closing those roads. And I'm very appreciative of that, because I know there was a lot of emotion in there, and a lot of, sometimes it takes a lot to say, hey, you know what? Thank you for doing that. I wasn't in favor of it. So I'm very appreciative of that. The second thing is, no matter what the change, when we make a change like that, to go back and forth between doing it, not doing it, not doing it is ridiculous. Frankly, we made a decision. And it was a decision based on what the residents asked us to do. It was based on more, I hate to say even, but even more important than that, the safety of the residents out there and the lives of their kids and their animals and their ability to enjoy their lifestyle out there. And that's what it was based on. There's a lot of garbage flying out there that it was a feud with this, that, or the other thing. It was to hurt somebody else. That's just a load of crap. I'm sorry. Has nothing to do with it. It never had anything to do with it. It was all about the safety of the residents. We did the right thing, and so I do appreciate the fact that the HOA took a vote the other night, and I don't discount that vote. I understand the feelings that were raised there. I was in the meeting from beginning to end. I heard all the comments. Even though I'm a member of that HOA, I did not vote in that vote because, you know, I didn't think it was appropriate because my road is blocked off. My road is not a through road. So it doesn't, I don't think it was right, you know, there were two individuals there that were on those roads, and one voted for it and one voted against it. So, but at this point, we made a decision that was the right decision for the safety and well-being of our residents out there. I appreciate that this council made that choice and made that decision, and I'm thankful for that, and I think we're on the right track. We had another event. That other event was talking about the traffic specifically on the area between Bonaventure Boulevard, what would be 184th, and 190th. And we had a fantastic turnout for that event. And I have to tell you that having struggled with this traffic area for over 10 years now, this was by far, I felt, the most productive, most positive, most really a positive view on how to resolve the issue as opposed to throwing mud back and forth. There was really none of that. Although I must say, there was a little bit, but it was all directed towards me, so I'm okay with that. That's why I'm up here. But
you forgot to use the dots.
There was a few arrows aimed at me, but that's all right. That's part of the job. But between the residents and everything else, it was very positive. A lot of good ideas. Some of the ideas are ideas we've heard before, but we heard some new ideas too, which was great. But the big difference this time, last time we looked at this, and last time we looked at this, we were looking for a comprehensive solution. And we really came up with a consensus for a comprehensive solution, and we've been working on that for a while, but to be honest with you, it was probably too comprehensive, and the reality is we haven't made any progress based on that. You know, it started with some really big things of getting some roads built in that area to the south by the school board property, and that just proved to be a hurdle that's too big. And so we really have not made any progress. So this time around, it's a different strategy. This time around, we had the road engineer, the traffic engineer there, and he listened into all that and took in all this feedback. And what we're going to do is work on short, medium, and long-term solutions, so that this time around we want to get some feedback on some things that may be some quick hits out there that will provide some quick, immediate relief, not you know, the full long-term, this problem is solved, but at least we'll be moving in the right direction. And I think we heard a lot of good recommendations along those lines, like putting in some stop signs, maybe a few more speed bumps in some critical places, maybe putting some lines down, relining some of those roads, because that actually helps. It looks like a smaller road. Doing some things like that, doing some additional code enforcement out there on some of those things, those businesses that really are illegal, that have multiple vehicles out there drawing in employees, and then all those vehicles go out, and then all those vehicles come back in at the end of the day, and then all those employees drive back out again. That's a lot of traffic that, frankly, those businesses today have never been, you know, they're not legal today, and they really have never been. So talking about doing some enforcement on that, some things that'll be we can do relatively quickly and be able to provide at least some relief, some positive things for that. Then beyond that, maybe work on some mid-range things. I was very pleased in the meeting that there was some give and take on opening up 190th, which frankly I had never heard before. It was really encouraging that you know, that we need to have the commitment to the folks in 345 that they will not suffer from this, that they will be protected from through traffic coming through, and that they will be protected. But they, you know, they were great. They really said that, you know, we need those protections, but if we have the right protections, then we're willing to talk about opening up 190th, which was very encouraging, and I really appreciate those sentiments that were voiced by a number of the folks in 345 along those lines. So I see that more as a kind of a mid-range thing that we can be working on to improve that, maybe in a, you know, 12 to 18-month time period, something along those lines. And then, of course, there's longer ones, as like Freddie's talking about here, with the 184 and maybe some other big long-range things. The big difference here is that what's on this NPO plan right here is for a 4-lane road. I'm not in favor of that. I think that's a bad idea. If that road goes through, we have to absolutely have the protection for those residents on both sides of 184 to be able to have some buffers and things, so that when the road goes in, it's something that will protect those neighborhoods. And so I was just very pleased with the meeting we had. We're going to have some work coming back to us, so the council be prepared for that when we have the traffic engineer come back with his recommendations. So
I have a question, if I may, Steve, to join you on that just a little bit. Would anybody object that if we ask Andy to get a price or have Willie work on about what it would cost the town to complete the paving on 190th to their road? I mean, it's not a long distance, but it's a number I think we ought to know. And it's not a big deal. Just related to opening 190th and closing 54th or 50th, you know, whatever layout that's going to be or work out to be, whether it would be closed 54th and 57th, close 63rd, but if not 63rd, and they want to close at 190th, we can't be a party to that because that's on their private street. So they would have to close it at 190th and 63rd. But as far as the town participation or being involved, from 190th where it's unpaved now to where connects to them is not that long a run, but I think we ought to get an idea of a ballpark of what that expenditure would be related to us moving forward. Just, it's an easy number,
think
it's
it-
not hard, it's not a lot of work.
I think it's a great idea.
So I just think that would help move it on a little bit more by having some kind of number in that capacity. I think Freddie wants to join in.
Yeah, well, you might want to go back to Florida Pine Light, because Florida Pine Light was going to pave it all the way. And the only reason they did it is because we asked them not to, so you might get something from there.
Well, that's a great suggestion. I mean, I'm sure we can call Ben and ask for his help there.
Also, if you're through, Doug, I was going to ask Steve something, because I attended those meetings too. I know the biggest problem we have now is that commercial traffic, when we're trying to get it south. And our biggest bottleneck that I remember is we can't get out on Sheridan. That's the biggest bottleneck, right, is trying to get on Sheridan. What's the possibility of not going all the way to Sheridan and say come around the High Line, which is almost to Sheridan, and coming across to 185th Way and going out? It would still give us an out of, because there is some right-of-ways in there that's already there.
Right, yeah, we did, yeah, actually, that was one of the options we were looking at. I think there's two roads there, 66th and 69th are ones that, I call them roads, they're not really roads, they're
No.
just kind of access ways. And, 66, I'm a little bit leery about because you could kind of go either way on that one. But frankly, if you're going all the way down to 69th, you're almost at Sheridan. And I think that is one that would be worth looking at. The only major obstacle then is putting in some sort of a culvert and getting access, because there is a canal that goes through the middle of that property in a north-south fashion. So we'd have to put in something to get the traffic from the west side over to the east side.
The canal wouldn't the canal be on the west side if they come down through there?
So that section over there, and then when I say section, is from 190th over to 185th,
Yeah.
okay? Well, in the middle of that, there is a canal,
There is a canal
There is
going
a north-south.
east and west,
north-south,
north-south?
north-south. And so to get the traffic from the west side of that
Well,
canal,
12 goes north and south, but we'd be east of 12,
we would be east of 12, that's
Yeah,
correct. It's not a big canal,
yeah.
but it's there.
Yeah. No, I know that's one of our options that looks like is possible in the near future, is trying to, even if we had to put in some kind of a rock road, so we call it
Right,
rock
right.
road.
And that was really one of the things we looked at was, you can call a road a lot of different things, and depending on what you call it,
Yeah.
determines what you need to do with it and how involved it is. And one of the things that we looked at one point was really calling it just emergency access for emergency vehicles and just having it basically be a rock road with some swales on it, and that's it. And that actually was the
There's
closest we
actually
came.
a road that runs down through there now, it's not.
There is.
It just winders on down through there. I know Eddie, where he's got his place in
Yep,
there.
yep.
He had even looked at the possibilities of getting a right-of-way from everybody so he could come to his property from there.
Right.
It seemed like there could be something worked out in that way.
Right, right. There are options there. It's just one of those things that we need to get some momentum going, and then I think maybe those things I think we tried to, deal with the biggest rock first, and I think after we get a bunch of rocks lined up and get them handled, then maybe that big one won't be so big anymore.
Well, truthfully, I've been one that's fought for 184th a long time, but let me tell you something, people, if you want to look at this list, we're 43 out of 46. It takes a lot of pressure to move somebody one place on that list. I'm not trying to bust anybody's bubble here, but I'm just telling you, I go to these meetings all the time, and as far as getting that 184 through is not an easy solution. We need to look at some kind of an easier solution to alleviate the traffic.
Yes, Sam, thank you.
Yeah, a couple of things for me. One is I had a conversation with our attorney Keith today, and I brought up the charter school out west that's supposed to be going in. And apparently, I don't know that they've done any of the suggestions we said as far as testing the ground to see if there's any contaminants or a variety of different other things we told them about. It apparently just appears to be moving forward. So what I'd like to do with you all's approval is to ask our attorney to have them attend any and all meetings related to the school at Pembroke Pines meetings and/or at the county to actively oppose it moving forward related to those issues or anything else they can come up with, and for a variety of different reasons. One is, we know from where that road's going in and Griffin Road not being widened, the amount of traffic and issues it's going to cause there. So I think that would be in the best interest of our residents related to that item. So, and if need be, if we need to start some litigation, I don't think it's going to be outrageously expensive, but I think it's pretty darn important to have them attend any meetings related to Pembroke Pines and the charter school and/or the county related to that. So I'd like you guys' support on that moving forward as far as having that, putting that in play. And the other thing is, as far as the lobbyists, I don't know if everybody's aware, but there's been some actions undermining in Tallahassee going on to attempt to make some things happen like they did years ago, that any town or city's under 10,000 people, that you can't close your roads or you can't do this or that. And we had some great lobbyists in the past, and we've approached them and gotten a great estimate, actually negotiated a better estimate down. I think you're going to cover this, Andy, or no? So I just want everybody kind of aware of that we're handling that. And anybody that's not aware that from the past, Keith is no longer with Becker and Polikoff, has not been for some time, but the lobbyists previously with Becker and Polikoff were indicted for bribery charges. So that's happened. So, and that was through Mario Bailey, who's not an attorney and who was with Yolanda Jackson's assistant. So I just want everybody else.
Thought he was an intern.
I don't know if his title was intern or
Was it
not.
intern or secretary?
The lobbyist recently indicted for bribery. Mario Bailey is a non-attorney who was Yolanda Jackson's assistant.
He's like
So-
a legislative aide.
Legislative aid, okay. So, anyhow, I just wanted to get that out there and let anybody else not really knowing about it, that's not our watch or related to us in any way, and we weren't with them when all this happened, so. But anyhow,
Doug, can I jump in?
Sure, absolutely.
You looking for a head nod on the school, the charter school?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm fully supportive of that.
Okay, awesome, great, appreciate it. Okay, other than that, I'm good.
Thank you, Doug. Was it initiation of a traffic study out there with regards to that the charter school end, Andy? I'm just curious as to what the status of that is and to see what that traffic study would reveal, because in a million years, I've been to schools that with a population of 24 and 2,500 and trying to facilitate a thought process with the building to be able to accommodate that many students, and transportation issues, kids driving, parents dropping them off, and going out there and taking a look at that and trying to figure out how that is going to work. Quite frankly, it just doesn't compute. It just doesn't make sense. So I'd certainly am interested in that traffic study and in those results, because that's a significant impact out there. That's a very large school with regards to the amount of room that you have out there, ingress, egress, transportation issues associated with that many kids. The problems are significant. Coming in, how they're getting them into the school, how they're going to get them out of the school. I mean, there's a whole process that needs to be accomplished as part of, addressing, getting those kids to and from school every day. So I'm looking.
Jeff, are you asking us to get a copy of the plat? Why don't we get a copy of the plat? If they had to plat that piece of property to do that, all that should be on that plat. We should get a copy.
Yeah, listen, anything to put things into perspective, to give us better understanding, it's, big secret, quite frankly, with the exception of that there's a charter school that's planned, and there's 2,400 students, 2,500 students. I believe it's 6 through 12, a STEM school, science, technology, engineering, and math. But with regards to anything other than that, quite frankly, I'm not sure. So what the who the charter company is, so it's just right now very, very vague information. So anything that could put things into perspective for us and our residents, so they know what's being planned out there.
Mayor, do you know of anything of like lighted ball fields, anything like that?
I do not. And again, the plans and what's being contemplated out there have been very, very vague. So the answer to that question, Gary, is no. I don't know that, and I haven't heard that. I do know that 2,500 kids is a lot of kids, and the facility to accommodate that many kids is pretty darn big in itself. So, any information that we can get to confirm what's being planned out there, because quite frankly, I don't know.
Well, Mayor, I think if we have the, authorize the attorneys to attend Pembroke Pines meetings and the county meetings related to the school, that we'll be on top of it like white on rice and be able to address any issue that comes up. Or
what we might want to do, Andy, is to just put them on record, just ask them, what the plans are out there, to see what kind of feedback that you get. Because again, I just hear a whole bunch of different things, and what I hear is very, very vague, but absolutely unequivocally that they're planning on a charter school. That's the student population. That's the academic focus that I hear. But with regards to all the other ancillary things associated with that operation, all that information is very vague. I don't know that you want to say
Yeah,
something. Andy.
if I may, Mayor, this is, obviously, the charter school is, at this point, it's in its infancy. It is advancing to the Pembroke Pines Planning and Zoning Board, so they're a long way from, assuming they get where they hope to get, they're a long way from that finish line at this point. And what I just spoke to Michelle about was requesting from Pembroke Pines a copy of that submittal, the package that was submitted, so that we have that information.
Okay, good. And share with all of us. Absolutely, Stephen.
Thank you, Mayor. The other thing that I would just add to that, I think it's excellent. That's what we need to be doing. I would also like to know about this thing that I'm hearing, that there's clicker only available to Pembroke Pines residents.
I've heard that too.
I'd like to know how that's legal, and if that's just a rumor or if that's reality. And if it is reality, I'd like to understand the legalities or the illegalities of that.
You talk about that new road that they're putting in.
Yeah.
It's going in there right now.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Absolutely. With regards to just a continuation, Steve, of your comments about your feedback out there, I know that tremendous amount of work. I know, Doug, you were out there. But also just a confirmation that there are a lot of residents from Pembroke Pines, and I think you probably touched on that, that also said, please don't remove those gates.
They absolutely did.
At one time, there was peace and tranquility out there for the most part when there was a gate at 109th and Sterling, and they also were the beneficiaries of that gate because there wasn't any cut-through. And when that was taken down, and honestly, I don't recall the reasons why or whatever, they were upset about that as well. And the same issues that our residents are having. So we have also, again, just confirmation. We got a lot of feedback from the residents out there saying thank you, and please don't take those gates down. We finally have some relief. I expect that in the very near future that you will be evaluating some proposals, both from BSO and the town of Davie. And Michelle, I think Michelle is going to touch on this, or Randy, and I know that you're aware of this because I suspect you have been forwarded the opinion from the Attorney General's office, Pam Bondi, that essentially, in her opinion, that municipalities do indeed have a legal right to contract for police services. So, again, I know that you're aware of that. I suspect that it'll pick up a pace because there was a question with regards to that, and I also suspect the pace was slowed until we had an affirmation of what we thought the law was. We now have that, so I expect the pace to pick up here pretty quickly, and I would be quite surprised within the next 2 weeks to a month that you will be contemplating those proposals and deciding what direction that you all want to proceed with regards to the police services. I want to thank many people that have called me and the concerns about these letters that appeared one day in my mailbox, our mailbox, the family's mailbox. I will tell you that something that I'm accustomed to. You read about it, you hear about it, you see it, but until you're actually affected by it, it's just never, ever thought that it could be a possibility. My wife actually was the one that brought it to my attention. She became very concerned because it was just a group of several envelopes, and she opened up the first one. And I will tell you, they did have return addresses on it, and we know who those return addresses are. There was also one that was attributed to Bob Norman. We all know who Bob Norman is, and we did contact Mr. Norman and had no idea what this was about, and he would never ever resort to anything or associate himself with anything that, whatever the message that was trying to be conveyed. And also a Sun Sentinel reporter, who we also contacted and said, no way, no how, we would never engage in that kind of activity. But I want to thank Chief B for your advice, your involvement, and again, I followed their instructions. This is something, unfortunately, that they do have some experience with, so everything that I did was in direct response to a protocol that they have established with regards to this. But again, it was my wife. She opened up one, there wasn't anything in there, and then she looked at all the other ones and just thought it very, very strange that they just looked like blank envelopes. So what the message is, what the motivation is, why it was done, I don't have any idea. I'm a big boy, I can handle it. But I have to tell you, when it affects my wife, who is emotionally traumatized by this, when it affects my kids, I promise you that I will go to the ends of the earth to find out who's responsible, and I will hold those people absolutely accountable to the highest degree possible. And I've been assured by BSO that they feel very confident that this is going to be solved. I have been contacted by BSO that they're in the process of gathering evidence and have already gathered some evidence that are going to lead them as part of this investigation to find the person responsible. And the Postal Inspector General has also confirmed that she feels relatively confident that as a result of being able to track this mail, that she too will be able to provide us with some information. I look forward to that day. I look forward to holding the person responsible that traumatized my family the way that my family was traumatized, and hopefully get this thing resolved in very short order and move on. So with that being said, that's where we are with regards to that. Again, to all the residents and to you all who have contacted me to check on how the Nelson family is doing, we're doing fine. And again, I look forward to getting this thing solved. So with that being said, that concludes my comments, and we're moving on to item number 6, which is legal comments. Michelle?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We've had some positive activity in legal land. First, I'd like to report, if you have not already heard, that the Martin property, which was the car junkyard, we were granted a judgment, a permanent injunction for the property. The property owner was given 5 days in which to remove the car with Robert Solera's assistance and that of BSO. The cars were removed by the property owner. The following day they returned, but then they are since gone. So I think we've also been awarded attorney's fees, so we will be seeking or going forward with those. With regard to the AG opinion, as Mayor Nelson stated, that this was a question that we were pretty sure we were right. It's shocking a lot of municipalities around town that we actually were, but that the municipalities can contract for police services with neighboring municipalities within the same county. With regard to the Pembroke Pines case, we've been rearing up with that one. We actually had depositions that were supposed to go forward this week of Mayor Nelson and Keith Polyakov, but they were requested, canceled by the Pines folks. And we're in the process of rescheduling those now. We're in a little bit of a stalemate with scheduling federal officials for depositions, since we don't seem to have any right now. So once they are back at work, we'll be working on those. With regard to the New Testament case, just to give you an update, New Testament Baptist Church of Miami had filed a couple different forms of lawsuits against the town. One was a writ of certiorari that has been since dismissed by the court. It has been dismissed permanently, so there's no chance of refiling in that particular instance, since that court lacks jurisdiction as it was a legislative proceeding. They also filed an action in the Department of Administrative Hearings, attempting a comp plan challenge, and we successfully had that dismissed on the basis of it being untimely. They really tried to fight hard back with that one, but at this point, although the final recommendation hasn't come out yet because of the way the system goes, the DOA judge has on 2 occasions recommended that the case be dismissed permanently from that. The last thing, we've got the declaratory action, which is pending before the circuit court. I have a motion to dismiss. It'll be filed probably tomorrow or Monday on that, on various grounds, and that'll be available once it's been filed. And other than that, I think everything's just moving along.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, that concludes legal comments. Item number 7, administration comments.
Yeah, thank
Andy?
you, Mayor. I have just a few things briefly tonight. However, if, with your permission, I'd like to call Sandy Luongo up to address Councilmember Jablonski's concerns on the recycling bins. Sandy's been heading that up for us and is really the best person to comment on that and answer those questions.
Absolutely, Sandy.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. How are you today? On Monday, we had 3 18-wheelers pull into Rolling Oaks cart, where we're using the staging area, and unloaded all our carts. At that time, vendors have their workers putting on the wheels and the handles and stickers. And Tuesday, they started the delivery, and they're starting out west, moving east, and they're only delivering the 65-gallon carts right now. And when they're done with that, they're going to deliver the 95 and 35-gallon. SWS also has issued a spreadsheet, a detailed spreadsheet with residents' name, addresses, and the cart that they selected, the size. The vendor is writing down the serial number of the cart so we can track the resident to the serial number in the event, one missing or damaged, and we also can maintain our inventory. In addition to that, I'm keeping a running log of any issues or complaints or requests for a different size, and when they're all delivered, then we'll address those issues.
Thank you, Sandy.
Sandy, who do we call? I know my wife's already asked him me, because my son ordered a big one, he got the little one. Do we just call the office and
Just call me. I'm keeping that log, Freddie. We will make sure that we're going to fix whatever's not working.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Andy?
Thank you. Just a couple other things. Gay Chapel spoke before during her board report. She talked about the meeting we had out at the barn. I attended that meeting on Tuesday night. We probably had about 30 people there. I thought it was a very good, very productive meeting. The approach that staff is taking with that as we go out to bid is we're looking for an A price and a B price. A price would be the bare minimum to get the barn converted, get it enclosed, and get us on our way to where we need to be. The B list, which is really where we needed the public input, and they were very helpful, we had a great discussion, was on the items where we have some flexibility, if the budget allows, if the bid allows, what kind of upgrades would you like to see? So it was a very good, very productive meeting. We're in the process. The architect was with us as well. We're in the process of finalizing that bid so that we can get that out on the street. I would imagine we're probably a week to 2 weeks away from that. The architect suggested we go out for about 6 weeks. So very likely you'll see this item again back in January. I'll certainly keep you updated as we go through the process, but we're moving forward. We're very excited about that. Keith and I participated in a conference call today on our pending lawsuit that we joined in with others in Broward County against Broward County on the assets of the Resource Recovery Board. There is a 164 session scheduled for staff level next Tuesday at Broward County Governmental Center. Keith and I will attend that on behalf of the town. Quite honestly, I don't expect any action to come out of that. I'll tell you that the next step coming out of that will be a second conflict resolution meeting involving elected officials. And as we get closer to that, and I have some dates, obviously, I'll let you all know about that, because it's certainly important that we can have quorum attend at that meeting. I do not expect the county to come forward with an offer at this point. They seem to be more concerned with the process, and I'll say making it maybe take longer than perhaps it should. But as part of the court-mandated process, we'll go ahead with the conflict resolution meetings and just continue to move forward with this. But really nothing new other than there's a meeting next week, and I'll certainly keep you all posted on that. There's been some comment on the Attorney General opinion and police services. I can tell you that we've had, I'll say, very good, very productive conversations with both BSO and with Davie. I'm looking forward to getting you all information for you to kind of digest as far as what our options, what our alternatives are, and get a sense of where that pricing falls. And it's certainly information I hope to have to you as quickly as possible. I've had some general discussions. I'm just looking for something a little bit more concrete, because until I have it in writing, it's not something I want to share with you, more formally. But I expect to have that in the, I'll say, very, very near future. Last but not least, you'll all remember that about this time of year, the town has been very supportive and involved with the Broward County Fair, and we've participated by having the Fun Horse Show at our equestrian park. And that has always been headed up by our very own resident, Joanne Hollingsworth. The fair is now a thing of the past, unfortunately. I fell a victim to certainly other circumstances, but Joanne wanted to make sure that the Fun Horse Show lived on, and we've had several meetings on that topic, and I'm really very pleased to tell you that the town looks like we'll be, I'll say, the proud owners of the Fun Horse Show this year. We've identified where we're actually going to have it in December. We're looking at December 14th. We're going to tie a holiday theme to it, and so it'll be the Holiday Fun Horse Show. And things are really falling into place with that. We're making some good progress, and I thank Joanne for her hard work. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, item number 8. Erica?
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a revocable license agreement with Broward County to allow the Rolling Oaks Community Association signs to be located within Broward County's right-of-way, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to execute the agreement and providing an effective date.
Andy?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This is this item and the next item. I'll certainly speak to them one at a time, but they're both housekeeping issues more than anything else. This finalizes our agreement with Broward County for the Rolling Oak sign, which I'm sure you've all seen, is at Mather Boulevard and Griffin Road. There's the two walls on either side of Mather with the Rolling Oak sign on it. This just formalizes our agreement with the county to allow that sign to be there within the county right away.
Thank you, Andy. Council?
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. Any members of the public wish to comment on this item? Seeing no public comment, public comment is now closed. We have a motion and a second. See no further questions, comments, or concerns. Call the question, please, Erica.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Fisickelli?
Yes.
Councilmember McKay?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes, item number 9.
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a revocable license agreement with Broward County to allow Broward County to utilize the town's right-of-way for the Everglades Holiday Park sign, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to execute the revocable license agreement and providing an effective date.
Thank you,
Motion to
Erica.
approve?
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Andy, I know you have a
Yeah,
brief
Mayor, this is
comment.
also a housekeeping item. It probably, I guess, the same thing, but in reverse. This is now our land where the county has placed a sign out at the intersection of Griffin Road, US 27, at the entrance to Everglades Holiday Park. They will maintain, it's our land, but they will maintain the sign and the property around it. I just will tell you for the record that I did ask the county to consider putting Southwest Ranches on that sign. We unfortunately struck out. They've had that same request from Sunrise with Markham Park, but as, we discussed it at this, previously from the dais, I want you to know that that request did go to the county. They elected to go in a different direction, but it's their sign, their park, and they'll maintain it.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any members of the public wish to comment on this item? Bob?
Did you get a permit fee, and did you get triple the fees?
We got the same fees we paid them for the other side.
So we're even? We're even. Any other members of the public wish to comment on this item? See no further public comment. Public comment is now closed. Motion is second. If there's no additional question, comments, or concerns, call the question, please. Erica?
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Fisickelli?
Yes.
Councilmember McKay?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brighters?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson.
Yes. Item number 10.
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a one-year sole source agreement with Southern Strategy Group to provide Tallahassee governmental relations and lobbying services on behalf of the town, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to execute the agreement and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Erica. Andy?
Yeah, Mayor, as Erica said in the title of the agreement, this is a sole source agreement. While Southern Strategy Group may be new to the town, the principals involved, Nelson Diaz and Edgar Castro, were longtime lobbyists at Becker and Polikoff, did a lot of work for the town in Tallahassee, very knowledgeable with the town, very knowledgeable with our issues, and we feel it's best that you execute the agreement now with them because committee meetings are going on in Tallahassee. It gets us that representation immediately. This is a one-year contract. It's at $2,500 a month, and there's a 30-day termination at any point should we need to do so. And I will tell you that one of the things that pleased me was they have no other municipal clients at the present time. So the money, the issues, the things that we would have them involved in and working on our behalf, we're not competing with other municipalities. We have their full and undivided attention on those issues.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any members of the public? Bob?
Yeah, I'm glad Andy was wise enough to sign a 30-day out with this company for a couple of reasons. I've had personal dealings with them, and they'd be the last ones I'd choose. I understand we got talent there, and that's our rationale, but I don't hold lobbyists very high. What Dante had 9 rings of hell. I think these guys are in the bottom ring. But there's been some articles in the paper that I'd encourage you to look at in the last week about Southern Strategies. When I see that name, the hackles on my neck go up because of what they pulled on jobs I've been in the past. However, something you want to keep an eye on, most of their principals have left, as in the founders, in the last 18 months. So there's problems in paradise. And they're also being addressed by Dan Getz, who's the, I forget, president of the Senate or the Speaker of the House for the state of Florida. He is going after them as what's wrong with lobbying. And for a legislator to do that, that says a lot. So keep your eyes open with these guys and keep that 30 days in your hip pocket, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Hi, John Eastman, 188th Avenue. Explain Andy's sole source. Does that mean that they're our sole lobbyist and we can't go to anybody else?
If I may, Mayor?
Absolutely.
We can go to anyone else. Sole source means that we went with them without our normal procurement process because they had something that wasn't available elsewhere. And in this case, it's the expertise of Edgar and Nelson.
This Southern Strategy Group, they're national. I mean, they have.
They have multiple offices
So
throughout Texas. I think they're in Wisconsin. This is the Miami office that we would
If the
be dealing with.
town needed an expertise, say, in utilities, and the 3 principals weren't versed in that, they could pull on those other groups to get the proper help we need?
Absolutely, yes.
And the $2,500 per month, that's just a retainer, and then we pay hours on top of that?
No, that would be our cost for their service.
That's the cost period, and no matter how much extra
Right, unless
work
they,
or
unless they
forward.
incur additional charges by something specifically we ask them to do. But for them lobbying on our behalf, for them representing us, that it's a fixed cost.
So if there's no items for, say, 2 or 3 months, they're kind of getting the better of the deal, and if something comes up that they have to work hard on, then we're getting the better of them. Is that how it's going to work?
That would be correct.
Or do you get your money's worth and then they kind of just slack off? I kind of, something like this, I feel more comfortable just getting billed, for the time spent rather than just putting money out when there's nothing going on.
Well, I would say that having them on retainer keeps us on the front of their minds throughout, as opposed to when we have specific issues. And I'll say that there are other things I think Councilmember McKay alluded to before. There are situations where there are things that may work their way into other bills that we need to be able to keep an eye on, and having them monitoring helps protect us in that case.
They are pretty politically charged. I mean, I did some background today. I spent some time on the computer, and some interesting individuals with some backgrounds there. So 30-day out, good idea.
Any other members of the public wish to comment on this item? See no further public comment. Council, will turn it back over to you for any questions, comments, or concerns. Seeing none, Erica, call the question, please.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Fisickelli?
Yes.
Councilmember McKay?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brighters?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes, item number 11, again, this is a discussion item. Surplus volunteer fire department vehicles update. Andy?
Yeah, Mayor, if I may, at the last council meeting, Chief Bennett spoke about selling off and surplusing some of the vehicles that we have that are available. They talked about a need for a new truck. You, as a group, authorized them to go ahead with that process, but you wanted more information. There's been a memo prepared by the volunteer fire department, which I've shared with you. I'm not sure that there's really a direction and change from what you gave at the last meeting, but the chief is out of town. Assistant Chief Kastner is here tonight to certainly answer any questions that you may have from that.
Thank you, Andy. Council? I know, Leslie, that you're here. You want to get us an update on this specific project?
Yeah, not a whole lot has been done. We've removed some of the equipment from the trucks, from the brush truck and the current brush truck, and from the rescue. There are a few things like the skid tank, which is the water tank with the motor and everything. We need special equipment to lift that up off of the truck, so we weren't able to get that out yet. And we're using the attack truck as our vehicle to get our personnel back and forth. The attack truck is out of service, the brush truck's out of service, and our engine's out of service. So the only truck we have to move people right now is our attack truck. So we can't get rid of the attack, which is what we had told you before. So we do have personnel that are diligently checking to see what best price we can get for a Ford chassis. I think Ford and Dodge are the only two chassis that really would work in this town for the type of truck that we need. Anything else that would be too big or not strong enough to do what we need it to do. So we're getting prices. We're getting prices through piggybacking onto BSO. We're also checking with state, with other possible places to piggyback onto. We also have one of our firefighters who is actually a training officer who has a lot of ties to Ford, and he's also trying to see if he can get something for us. So we're doing a lot of work, but we're compiling a lot of information to find out what we can do and what we'll need to do. But again, we can't get rid of the attack truck until we know exactly what we're going to do, and we have the brush truck about ready to come in. So we're kind of have our hands tied, and we don't know how long the engine's going to be gone.
So let me ask you a question. I think you're familiar with the discussion from this council at the last meeting, the authorization to sell the surplus items, and the thought process was that there'd be enough revenue generated to purchase at the brush truck.
Right.
And how did? Well, I hear what you're saying. The one unit is out of commission, and you have the one. What truck was that again?
Transport, the attack truck.
The attack truck that you're utilizing now. So my question is, what are you asking of the council You know?
Nothing right now.
Okay.
We're just.
So just kind of
letting
information.
you know where
Okay.
we're at.
Okay.
At this point, we would be able to sell the rescue. We would be able to sell the current brush.
And you're in the process of doing that?
Problem with, well, we have to remove everything. The rescue's ready to go. We're just trying to see where the best place to list it, if we do it through Brindley Mountain for a fire, or we try to do it through Craigslist to see if maybe we might get more for it so that somebody can use it. Because a rescue would be a nice truck for a utility person or somebody with a lawn company or whatever. So wherever we think we can get the most money for the trucks, that's what we'll do.
Are we selling these trucks stripped? I mean, are we taking,
Well, we
I
would-
mean, what you're describing to me is we're taking the water tank
No,
and pump
well,
off the back and,
Well, the thing is, for the brush truck is overweight, so you can't sell it as a fire vehicle. We cannot sell the brush truck.
well, we weren't told that last time.
Yes, sir.
No, we were told that that was an issue for us, but we
It's an
weren't
issue.
told that you couldn't sell it.
You can't, it's an issue for anybody that would use it as a fire vehicle. Now, I will tell you, that skid unit that's on the back is what we're planning to put on the chassis for the new brush truck to save money.
Okay.
And we can refurbish it so that it will cost us way less to do that than to get a whole new skid unit, which can cost upwards of $20,000.
So we're shopping it, trying to save money by
Getting
piecemealing it, by ending up with what we want.
what we've seen so far, we could possibly get a chassis somewhere around $38,000 to $40,000. We would have to put the cabinets onto it, and we could take our skid unit, refurbish it for a few $1,000s, and put it on. We might be able to do it for under $60,000. We're trying. We're not sure. If we go for a brush truck that's already ready, they are $90,000 to $140,000.
And I think that was the number we heard before, but we were under the impression that by selling those three items, we'd be close.
We would be close. The problem is we can't sell the attack truck, and the brush truck and the rescue are only going to get us maybe, if we're lucky, $30,000, which leaves us a far cry. We have a problem to get rid of the vehicles, to purchase a vehicle, especially with our engine out of commission.
I think the bottom line, what we voted on, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the revenue that they gathered from those sales would be what would go towards purchasing the new vehicle. So that's what they're trying to do, and they're trying to do it in a creative way to try and keep the costs down. And so I agree with you, it's a little different than what we heard last time, but I think they've done some more investigating, and they found some new facts, and they're trying to work within the limitations that they found.
We expect we should get anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000 possibly for the attack truck. Unfortunately, that's the truck we have to keep until we're set.
Until we can find a way to cover that window to make that trade-off.
Right.
When is that study due? Approximate, the fire study?
Approximately 90 days.
End of November, end of December?
I would say about 3 months from now. We just awarded the contract. We're in the process of scheduling those meetings with the consultant, getting them started. They'll move fairly quickly, but you're 3 months out.
Okay. New year, basically.
Plus, I can see as creative and as intelligent as you all, you figure out a mechanism or a way to
trying.
maybe get a confirmation of that sale, but logistically, how you're going to be able to reconcile that with being able to utilize that and order in the other. But something tells me you're going to come up with a plan, Leslie.
We're working on
Are you
it.
going to keep us updated on your progress? Okay. Freddie?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. You say here you have apparatus available for sale. The brush truck is the one that's overweight, right?
Yes, sir.
Then the ambulance is the one that was given to us.
Yes,
And
sir.
you talked the Attack 82.
That's the mini pumper.
That's the engine you're using right now?
No, that's the mini pumper that we had gotten from BSO Airport.
That's the one y'all been rebuilding yourself?
No.
No.
That
That's completely separate. That's our fundraising truck, which we call Big Red.
That's a light green one, right?
It's a 1975 Han engine.
Well, what is the Attack 82?
Attack 82 is a F-550 truck. It's built on an F-550 chassis. It's got about 300 gallons of water, and it's.
Are we
used for-
using that unit?
We're using it for transport. It broke too.
Yeah.
Is that
Because
the light
E-
green one, Leslie?
The engine,
Yeah.
the unit you're using is what you call E82. That's the unit.
Engine 82 is E82. That's our engine that carries 1,000 gallons.
Yeah.
That's in the shop.
The only other question I would bring out is on your item 3 on the, I guess that would be page 3. Y'all made a statement there that selling 82 before having a reserve advance place would lead to a violation of our contract.
That was wrong. He did not understand that. There is
think
nothing
it needs
that
to be
violates
taken
the
out of there.
contract, but in all good conscience, we can't not be able to transport our people to at least to use for manpower, and if possible, to be able to use as a water supply. So we won't do that.
So you're using the attack truck now, or is it broken?
It's broken. It can't pump water.
Okay.
But we
Is that the
cannot-
only thing wrong with it, that you can't use it?
And the emergency brake went out, but that's not a problem because it's standard shift. But, I mean, right now, the only problem is that as the trucks get older and water's going through them, stuff starts to rust or has problems. There were a couple pieces that just got stripped out under normal wear and tear, and so it has to be replaced. Unfortunately, right now, because the engine's been probably out of service almost the last 2 months, we've been using the attack truck, and we can't not have a truck to transport our personnel. So until our engine comes back, we can't send the attack truck to be fixed, and we really can't sell it without it being fixed.
Keep us updated, Leslie. Sounds like you got a plan, and something tells me you're going to figure it out, that's for sure.
We're working on it.
Thanks, Leslie. Okay. Item number 12, approval of minutes for September 26, 2013 budget hearing, and the minutes for the September 26, 2013 regular council meeting.
I have a correction on the minutes, I think.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Freddie.
On the second page, on roll call, somehow there's figures are wrong. It says, Councilmember Jablonski voted yes, Nelson yes, Councilmember Berkhuis no, Councilmember Fisickelli no, Vice Mayor Kate no, and it says motion failed 1-4. The figures don't vote.
But off by one.
Pass.
Yeah, you got it. Erica hears you. She'll correct it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you,
correct.
Freddie. Any other issues with the minutes? I'll take a motion.
Motion.
Approve as adjusted, as amended.
Motion and
Second.
second approve as amended. Any members of the public? I know that you read this stuff diligently, and there's been times that you brought it to our attention that there were some issues or mistakes. Since there is none,
Where's Newell? There he is.
call the question, please, Erica.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Fisickelli?
It was 2 or 3. It was a 2 to 3 vote.
Hey, Freddie? Approval of the minutes for those two meetings?
We made a
With the
motion to
with the
approve
amendment, with
as
the,
amended.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Councilmember McKay?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brightcrus?
Yes.
Mayor Nelson?
Yes, that concludes the agenda and the business before the town on this particular night. Vice Mayor, members of the council, always a pleasure. Members of the public, thanks for coming. I will certainly take a motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
and I'm sure it's unanimous. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.